Yeah, you know what it is. Welcome to the best coast. Yo, it's Bronze Age nerd with that collecting elite. Big B McFly steady bringing the vintage heat. Pull up a seat, we diving in the stacks. Silver to the bronze, got the knowledge on tap. From Kirby's Kings to the mutants, wow. We breaking it down in that laid back style. So grab your snacks, let the panels unfold. This is comic book chilling with the stories we told. Comic book vibes, we flipping them pages. Legends and lore from all the ages. Golden to the modern, we talk that news. With Big B McFly and the nerd cut loose. Yo, you tune into that Bronze Age flow. Where comics live and legends grow. Big B McFly in the cut, let's fly. Best coast, baby, comics are what saved me. Big B, yeah. Baby, comics are what saved me.
Hey, welcome to the West Coast, aka the Best Coast. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and I'm joined, as always, by my faithful sidekick,
Marquis de Sade. Wait.
Nice.
Big B McFly, the comic guy.
Loving it. Man, summer is in its last gasp. But over here, where we're at the Northwest, feels like it's in full effect. It's funny. I hear people talking about like fall things, a lot of almost like wishful thinking, trying to get it kick-started here because we had a fairly mild summer for the most part, but it seems to be coming on strong here.
It is muggy as all get out, man.
Yeah. It was actually a little cooler today than it was supposed to be, but it still hit like mid-90s where I'm at. So
yeah,
not too bad. So, real fast, I want to take a second to let everybody know that we are streaming on multiple channels. You could be watching on the Bronze Age Nerd YouTube channel. You could be watching on the Big B McFly, the comic guy channel over there. And you could also be watching on the EXP channel that we're a part of as well. All the links for all those channels in the description below. So wherever you're watching, that's cool. Keep watching there. Just make sure you go and subscribe to all the other channels so you can get all the other great content that those channels have to offer. And tonight we're going to be talking about kind of a new series we're launching. Really kind of a fun idea. I think we're both excited about this.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about kind of the topic of rereading some of our favorite comic books and really to kind of springboard into almost like a curated list of reading suggestions from us.
Yeah.
Give us a fun chance to talk about some classic comics, maybe expose some people to some stuff that they're not used to or familiar with. We've got a whole bunch of these kind of planned out already that will kind of, cycle into our regular shows that we do, like artist profiles and all that kind of stuff. And this one is, we're going to kind of make it the highlight reel of stuff. The whole theme is things that we've read that we're interested in rereading, which just goes to show you that they're probably things that we recommend reading to people, right?
Yeah. If it's good enough to read again, I would recommend somebody to read it at least for the first time.
Yeah. Absolutely. So before we get into that, we got a couple other segments we're going to do real fast, but we are going to say hello to all of you in the chat, starting off with our gold medalist GT Key Comic coming in with that first comment and those emojis that we love and are so familiar with, followed by Richard Westfall coming in with the this is an awesome list: Infinity Gauntlet, Silver Surfer Requiem, Swamp Thing, anything Green Lantern that explores the other spectrum colors. That's a cool way to put that. And Batman Last Halloween, Long Halloween, Last Halloween. And then we got in the coveted bronze medal position, Hydra Asylum Comics coming in. Love it. Got Rich Dankey hanging out. Love seeing Rich in here. Thanks for being here, Rich. Daredevil 179. This issue introduced me to Miller's Daredevil, and I was hooked. Nice. Love it. I love it. Derek's in here. Hey, what's up, Derek? And we got figure drawing in the house. On a non-words note, GON the manga, always a joy to revisit. Is it short for something?
Is that the one with the little dinosaur? I'm thinking maybe. Let me know.
Yeah, if that's like, like a, what do they call it, an acronym? Let me know. If it's just called
I think that's the name of the book. But,
okay.
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Manga is my weak point. Otaku tour guide in the house. What's up? How's it going, homie? We got Comic Tropes hanging out in the cut. Love it. Love seeing it. Welcome, Comic Tropes. All of them thought Hydra Asylum, also, you know, a channel on YouTube you should follow, as well as Comic Tropes and several other people in here that we'll get to in a little bit, including Otaku Tour Guide. Does a series called Comics You Should Read, Comics You Think We Should Read. That's pretty fun. I like that. That's good. And that's actually the kind of secret sauce here, is that we're going to get some great recommendations from the chat, I bet. Oh, Mr. Science Snake is buckled up. How do you buckle up a snake, though?
You tie him around the...
You gotta tie the snake around the... Okay, there we go. There we go. I love it. I love it. Richard Trope Science. Love it. Look at all those new comic book boxes behind Ban. I bet it's worth millions. You're gonna plan a heist? Oh boy. Well, you could plan a heist. I actually did. It's funny. I rearranged most of that stuff back there, like all the stuff on my shelves and everything, because I think Chris will appreciate this. This giant GI Joe vehicle came in, and I had to rearrange everything to make room for it. I would show it. It's up here on this big filing cabinet I have next to me, but it's so big. I don't even know if I can take it down and show it off on camera. But might try to here and make a fool of myself, knocking everything over. Gone is not. People can think what they want about the New 52, but the Sinestro and Red Lantern books were solid. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, didn't screw anybody out of the bronze medal. There you go. I think it's just funny to me that I make the third comment the most important one.
Gone is the dinosaur book. Yep.
Okay, sweet. Nice. That's awesome. Yes. Chris knows. Giant piece of GI Joe memorabilia.
One of my favorite vehicles from the old 3 3/4 series.
Yeah, real fast. I'll tell it. So, I was people know this. I was a huge GI Joe fan when I was a kid. I was at the prime age to be collecting the 3 3/4 figures when they were out. And by collecting, I mean playing with and being given tons of GI Joe every birthday and every Christmas for the entire time the vintage line was running. But I was born in 82, so I missed a lot of the early iconic vehicles and figures and stuff. I had the 86, 87, 88, 89, I had all that stuff. An obscene amount of it. But I missed a lot of the key stuff. Right near the end of when I was done playing with G.I. Joe kind of as a toy back then as a kid, I went to a garage sale and they had a fully complete Rattler, which even at the time that was kind of weird to find.
Yeah.
Wheels weren't, the wheels were stressed, but they weren't broken, which is a really common problem on those. It might have been missing, like, try to remember, it might have been missing one little thing or something like that.
Missiles or something, right? Yeah.
I think it had all that.
Wow.
But it didn't have Wild Weasel, but I had that figure anyway that I'd picked up loose somewhere else, like another garage sale or flea market or something.
It had like the switch out panels that you could have where it had the bullet hole damage. Or so there was some different pieces you could switch in and out, right?
And then how they did that on this one is fantastic. Because they echoed that feature. But anyways, I ended up having that, and I still have it. It's at my parents' house in storage, but
that's awesome.
Still have it. Yeah. So now I have the little one and I have a huge one, and at some point here I should probably pull it down, but it's just
see if you layer them for effect in the background that look like you have like multiple.
There's no way I could fit it in the background. It's impossible.
I mean, like even when you get that bigger space, right?
Right. Yeah. When I live in a different place someday,
you've got that A-frame house where you can hang them down from the ceiling.
Well, that's what I wanted to do, but I can't put hooks in the ceiling as a renter in this place because it has popcorn ceilings.
Right.
So they won't allow it because they're not sure if there's asbestos up there.
Yeah, that Rattler could be deadly.
Yeah. Bioweapons. Otaku says Days of Future Past. Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Batman Dark Knight in Year 1, Daredevil Bullseye, Elektra Arc, Death and Return of Superman, G.I. Joe Silent Issue, and subsequent origin story between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Great picks. The Weapon X arc. Man, you are on fire, Otaku. And Richard had a great list. Those are amazing lists, guys. You will see some of your recommendations echoed at least throughout this series. Maybe not tonight. On a couple of them you will. Right. But yeah, that's what we're covering tonight.
I kind of
Before
wondered
we
if we should split some of that stuff up because, like, some of it I did really broad strokes. Like, these creators run on this, and I was like, well, there's a lot of really good. So maybe I'll split those out into smaller segments in our list because I was like,
I
yeah,
had that thought too. Some of the things on some of your list for some of the future ones, I was like, that's a big
swath.
arc. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
get it. One of mine tonight's really like it's a very large amount of issues. The beauty is you can read a lot less than that because it's an event from Marvel, which they usually have, you know, at least 70 issues, right? But you can cut that down to like some prime reading.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Did I? Oh, I didn't have all the artwork downloaded. Okay, I was gonna. We might do community artwork at the end of the show just to make things easier.
Okay.
I was gonna say we could do community artwork now, but we don't really have much news to talk about, folks. I don't know what it is. Maybe I was just not paying attention to the world. I'm sure if you caught Comic Tropes show over on his second channel, Comic Tropes After Dark, where he talks about the stuff he picked up on the weekly spinner rack and all the news that's going on. He probably covered a lot of great stuff. I was doing Meet the Teacher night for my daughter and trying to get her prepped for school and everything. So I missed out on his show, and then I missed out on all the news. I do have one thing I want to talk about. I guess you could say it's spoilers for Peacemaker, but it's kind of not. So it covers something that happened last season on Peacemaker that they've changed, and this has been widely reported. So even though it appears at the very beginning of this season of Peacemaker, I think everybody's probably fine on it because either you're not going to watch season 1 of Peacemaker, which I think it retroactively changed on the streaming services as well. It's kind of a warning, I guess. I don't know if I really need to issue it, but basically they changed the post-credit scene of season 1 of Peacemaker. Right. And let me share this article from the Wrap real fast. I guess even before I do that, there's probably one little thing I should do here.
We got to get those handsome fellows on the show.
Got to get them. Those guys, they're so
be a great interview.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Look how handsomely they're dressed.
Sharp dressed men.
So I promise I won't go into episode 1 spoilers beyond this specific thing, which again, it's retroactively, as the title here says, it's retconning what happened in season 1's post-credit scenes. So it kind of makes sense if you think about Peacemaker and the fact that James Gunn obviously was heavily involved in Peacemaker. The end credits scene of Peacemaker season 1 was great, but it did feature the Snyderverse Justice League essentially, or right. Large parts of it. And I'll try to keep it relatively spoiler free, of course, except for just talking about that one little part of it. They basically made the Justice Gang the part that appears.
They did a really good job, I thought.
Yeah, they did a great job, and I'm not even showing pictures of that part of it. That's one of the reasons I picked this article, is because it's just kind of is there. It's on the wrap.com if you want to go read about it yourself. It's also been covered a lot in the comic book sphere. I'm just, we're extra sensitive about spoilers, so I don't want to show anybody if they're really concerned about it.
Anything for anybody.
Yeah, but I think it's fun. Like Chris said here, I think it's a nice little retcon. Richard agrees. So Hydra Slime, I'm curious about this. So the one thing I didn't understand, because I caught it in Peacemaker season 2, they show it in the very beginning. Did they actually go back and change the ending of season 1? That's the one thing I'm not clear on. Like if you watch it now, that's what I thought this was saying. But if anybody can,
I haven't rewatched. Yeah, I thought about rewatching the very end of season 1 because I was going into it, but I haven't rewatched it. Jay, did you rewatch it?
Chris, I'll tell you, the Suicide Squad, the second film, at least certain events of it happen. I won't say exactly why or how because I don't want to spoil anybody, but they directly reference that in Peacemaker episode 1 of season 2. I'll say the big thing that happens in the Suicide Squad as far as
Peacemaker.
Yeah, as far as Peacemaker's concerned. Yeah, exactly. So that's definitely canon. Oh, okay. Season 1 looks the same. Interesting. Oh, interesting. I thought they maybe would go back and kind of change it. Man, I'm kind of glad they didn't.
So without spoiler at all,
yeah,
because I don't want to spoil nothing for anybody either. There's a little extra scene where a joke is made, and then there's some ADR done to change some things too.
Oh, okay.
But season 1 is completely the same season 1 we got.
Gotcha.
So it's just in that previously in the thing that they do at the beginning of episode 1 of season 2.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, some of you guys know better than I do because I didn't have access to HBO Max to go watch season 1 again. But yeah, I'll just say that it's awesome. It's spoiler free. I can't wait to talk about it when the season's over. I'm sure
if you are a parent and you have little ones, I will warn you. You should probably pre-watch the first episode before you consider letting other people watch it.
Much like Peacemaker season 1, this is not child appropriate, at least in my opinion. You do you as a parent.
I mean, well, like I said, each parent has their own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Word.
Yeah. So it's good. It's good. That's kind of all I'll say about it. It's really the only news thing that I had to talk about, though. So instead, we're going to do something we were kind of doing a little while ago because it's references watching stuff. We've been talking a lot about movies and stuff. Anything that you been checking out recently or watching that we should get caught up on or recommend?
Man, whoo! And every time I think I know, like I'm like, okay, they're going to spend a lot of time going in depth into this, and it's just like, nope, moving right along. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's really good. I'd also love to talk about that. Maybe when it's all over, we get a chance to talk about it. It's I can't. It's tonight. The new one comes on, right? I think it's Tuesdays.
It is tonight, right? Yeah.
So it's tomorrow. Good. Yeah. So awesome. I can't wait. That's good. We've been watching that too.
Let's see what else I watched. I finally watched Mission Impossible, the final episode, so that was enjoyable.
Okay, so that's I went back to the last Mission Impossible I didn't remember. And I rewatched that, which was Rogue Nation.
Okay.
I know I've seen like Fallout. I'm pretty sure I watched Rogue Nation at some point, but I had no memory of it. So I rewatched that. And I'm going to go through and watch them all till the end. Kind of those are going to be the movies I watch for a while.
Yeah, no, it's good to get a refresher, especially if you're going to go watch. And it's kind of cool if you do that. You're going to get a lot of throwbacks or callbacks to the old movies. So that's cool.
That's funny tropes. Yeah. So Otaku wants to know, was it good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't go see it in the theater, so I was pulling off to where I could watch it on a streaming platform that I have access to, and finally was able to. So it was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it. It's long. It is very long. There's a lot of waxing poetically about things. So but it's appropriately. So
okay.
I enjoyed it.
Cool.
I watched a good season. Cheese Peacemaker season 2. Yes, it is very good.
Yes, it is so far. Yeah, it's really good. Based on one episode,
I was blown away. I'm in.
I'm more excited. I'm more excited for season 2 so far than I was for season 1. I watched a really fascinating movie that I'm not sure how it sits with me.
Okay.
I watched a movie called Eddington.
Okay.
Yeah. So Eddington, for those that aren't familiar, it stars Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal are kind of the main stars.
That's the tiny town one, right? The small town one.
Yeah. It's a small town in New Mexico. It's an A24 movie, which I think some people. I don't like it when people introduce like things as A24's Eddington. Like I don't really love that the way they do that, but it is an A24 movie. I know some people like those for their style or whatever. It's really weird.
I've noticed like some people say that, but like I've noticed they've got a pretty broad spectrum of movies that come out.
and that's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like that labeling.
Right.
It's really, really, really strange. And I won't spoil it.
Please.
It's still a pretty new movie to have come out like on services and stuff. But I will give you like an impression that I think is very honest about it. And it makes sense if you watch the trailer. This isn't going to be surprising. It's an allegory for 2020 is the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
Because it directly, a huge part of the plot is the pandemic. For those that don't know, the basic setup of the movie, like the trailer setup, is a small town sheriff doesn't like masking orders and doesn't like COVID pandemic procedures. And you have the mayor who's like, hey, let's all wear masks. Let's make sure people going to stores are wearing masks, that kind of stuff. And then the sheriff kind of gets some personal stuff, gets his hackles up, and he ends up deciding to run against Pedro Pascal. So that's Joaquin Phoenix running against Pedro Pascal, who's the incumbent mayor, the existing mayor. And then it goes, especially the third act of the film, just goes off the rails. Again, no spoilers. Just it's crazy. And it really kind of left me like at the end, I was like, wait, what did I just watch? Like but it really kind of goes through like, again, no spoilers, but if you watch it, like everything that happened, like the different arguments, the different motives that people had, different motives that different groups had, conspiracy theories, all the protests that happened, everything. It kind of explores those in a very weird way. And it's still one of those movies that I can't find out right now if I love it or hate it. And it's been about 24 hours since I watched it. So
you're trying to wrap your head around it still.
Yeah, it's worth checking out though.
Right.
Comics are fun to read. I agree, Biggie Shack. I agree with you quite a bit. But if you read a bad one, not as much fun, but still fun. It's still fun to read about. Just like watching bad movies. I love watching bad movies.
Right. Sometimes they're so bad they're good.
Yeah. Although bad comics sometimes aren't as enjoyable because they are kind of a slog. It's not as easy to make fun of a bad comic unless they're just absolutely wild. Me too. Turns out it's funny. A lot of people didn't though.
I died, but I was brought back because comics.
Good. I'm glad because otherwise you wouldn't be here. Beast of War feels like Quint's Jaws story with Australian soldiers sunk ship getting picked off by a practical looking shark. That's interesting. I recently rewatched Jaws, and so that kind of piqued my interest the way you described that. And then I won't talk about this forever, but real fast, I've been rewatching Stranger Things, getting ready for the final season later this year, and then The Expanse. I've been rewatching both those because I'm reading the books. Yeah, that's kind of it for what I've been. I feel like I watched another movie
this weekend. I tried to do things. I went out and scored a collection this weekend, so that was kind of fun.
A crazy collection.
Well, I guess it's rewarding when nobody else wants to go out to garage sales when it's 100+ degrees out. There are deals to be found.
It helps. Yeah. No, congratulations, man. Some of that stuff just seemed amazing.
Yeah, it was just like when I got there, they were bagging everything up and putting it away. They were like, "We are melting. No one's coming." And I'm like, "Oh, I drove like an hour to get here. Can I just take a look?" Somebody, my Christmas ornament lady, referred me, and
it's nice to have one of those.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then the picture she sent, there was 2 long boxes of comics, but I could see all these boxes of Pokemon in the background and Funko Pops and toys. So I was like, So yeah, good deals were to be found.
Yeah, it's true. I've heard about this new, what is it, a screw worm? Is that what it is? I've seen a couple of headlines, but it doesn't sound good. Something found in cattle, I think.
The one from Doom?
Strange Dog. Man, you're looking at old different comics than I am because I love the smell of old comics, and I'm not like a fresh fart. Sometimes, sometimes it's definitely funny. Old farts usually aren't that. If something smells like old farts, usually not that great.
Hey, I'm an old
new
fart.
Farts can be funny, but yeah. Yeah, little silly. Stranger Things season 4, so many movie like and that's the way this season's gonna be. It's cool how they're doing it too. It's gonna be 3 hour-and-a-half long episodes, roughly, and they're gonna release on Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. I think those are
cool.
It's releasing on 3 holidays. But yeah. Yes, and then, it's kind of funny. I've been going back and rewatching a lot of stuff. And it kind of reminds me of this topic that we're talking about tonight, which is rereading comics, which we will get to here in a second. We got some great comics to talk about. Stranger Farts is my best parody show. It's the best parody show out there. Love it.
So when I picked up that collection, I got to go down and see Trav.
Yep.
And I picked up a few books. I got one that I like.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I got one of those coming from Gamma Base.
Nice.
Yeah, I want the 1 in 100.
Is that the Virgin variant?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a feeling I can pick it up for cheap in about a year,
Right.
I don't think that out of all the J. Scott Campbell covers, I don't think that's gonna be one people are like, I need that one.
I got one Christina would want.
Oh, that was killer. I think I pre-ordered that one too. Yeah. I think I got that one and the Rogue one too.
Trav had all of them. And so he's like, hey, I got all these. I know you want them. Here you go.
Comic-Con Strangers Farts. I love it. I was stoked that season 4 was actually good. Yeah, season 3 was a little weak. I like season 1 and season 2 quite a bit.
Good parts to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I can just find the good in everything.
I think that's definitely admirable. Oh, I know what else I watched. Introduced my daughter, who's 6. She's gonna be 7 soon. I introduced her to Batman Beyond because she loves Batman the animated series.
Cool.
So she wanted to watch. She saw it like in our movie database. She wanted to watch Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. And I was like, well, first let's watch the first couple episodes of Batman Beyond so you kind of know what's going on, and then you can watch that. And she thought it was really cool. She loved it. She loved that. I forget their names now. The 2 twins. She loved that they were Harley's granddaughters.
Right.
So she loves Harley Quinn. So that was really fun.
There's a side-by-side comparison of how they edited that. I guess they had to do some editing because it wasn't PC enough.
Oh yeah.
So okay. They edited the end of it. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's weird you mentioned that because she's in the news. Yes, Delilah and Deirdre Dennis, the DD twins. Thank you very much. It's strange you mentioned that because she's in the news because she just adopted a baby. Okay. And I promise, Millie Bobby Brown, for those that aren't seeing what I'm highlighting in the comments, I promise I won't get super far off onto this, but I see tons of backlash for people like, why is she 21 and adopting a kid? Why aren't they having their own kid? It's like,
that's none of your business.
That, and also I think it's admirable that somebody that's that age wants to adopt.
Children need to be adopted, and that's that's none of your business what someone's reasons are for what they're doing. I mean,
and she might have can't reasons,
maybe they're having trouble. They have conceiving or something or whatever. That's not
even if they don't
nobody's business. It's everybody wants to be in the know on everything, and it's like we don't really have a right to know some of the things that people want to know.
I think it's just interesting how people get on their soapbox about her. But yeah, it's it is interesting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with that, with the kids' ages in the show and how long it's take for the final season to come out, and they're not doing a major time jump. And that is one thing that's because it's the first time I've ever rewatched it. So you go from season to season, and it's kind of
shocking.
1 and 2 aren't that crazy, but going from 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4, you're kind of whoa, especially when you're starting the next one right after the last one.
Right. And when the suspension of disbelief when you're waiting, having already seen it, isn't quite so much. But when you're watching them back to back, I can.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll ever go through and de-age them or anything at some point.
Oh man, that'd be interesting. So I need to know, do I need to show off this Rattler or what?
Yeah, you should show off the Rattler. I'll throw, if you want to grab the Rattler, I'll show some comics while you're doing it.
Yeah. I'm gonna get it situated here. Feel
Okay, so we saw Cyclops, we saw Mary Jane. We got Ghost Rider. Rip off Dave from West Coast Dave Avengers. Ghost Rider, motorcycle hero. Got the Rogue One there. Beautiful Rogue cover. Human Torch. Captain America. Miles. Magic. Carnage. Oops. X-23. Wow, they're all wanting to fan out. Oh, and then we got some John Byrne She-Hulk. Sneaking its way in there.
There's some images that came out of Daphne Keene doing X-23 photo ops at a convention. Man, she definitely is blossomed. I'll just say that.
I won this as part of his giveaway on his Whatnot show. Signed by the whole creative team. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, those are the main things. I bought a bunch of John Byrne She-Hulk also. And I also won the big Progressive Buyers giveaway. So I got the 9.6 Little Red Ronin #1 virgin foil. So
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Trav.
Yeah.
Oh, and hey, and something in that collection I got is coming to your daughter, but I will show it because you know, I found I own one of these. I own one of these, and she needs a Bronze Age nerd action figure.
It's not hairy enough. Night. Have a good night, Immortal Biggie Shack. Oh, that's
good night,
awesome.
Biggie.
All right, this is heavy, so I'm going to show this real fast so I don't have to keep holding it.
Oh my goodness, look at that thing. What a beast.
That's how big it is.
Whoo! That's awesome, though.
But I'll show you the reason that I really want to show it's because you mentioned that panel effect thing.
So oh, yeah, the battle damage. Yeah.
The battle damage here. Let's see if I can manipulate the light here.
So cool. Look at all those bombs and missiles.
That's like the red LEDs in the cockpit turn on, and there's white LEDs on the outside. Then you can turn it to red, and then you can turn it to battle damage, where it starts to show.
Oh, it's on fire. That's cool.
Like sparking electrical fire.
That's so cool.
And it stays on for like 2 minutes.
That's awesome, man.
God, it's heavy though. But I got Wild Weasel in there. I got the gunner in the background. I haven't put any stickers, but it is nuts.
Wow, congrats. That's really cool.
Yeah. Baroness is posed off to the side with my weird little Baroness shrine. But yeah.
Awesome Sauce. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Awesome Sauce. This is going to be hard for me to describe.
His big jumbo Rattler that he just got for GI.
And that's not a euphemism.
Yeah. His Cobra Rattler.
So it's very, very cool. But it weighs 20 pounds. So I'm gonna go set it down.
You should, you know, that's your cardio exercise weightlifting program there. So hey, it's me again. I'm big. Find something to show you. I'm at a loss to find something to show you. Okay, let me see. I found a book. Here's a book that I just got from Joe. In amongst the things I got from him was this was kind of cool. This was a Planet Hulk variant cover, sketch incentive cover. I thought that was pretty neat. And he handed up, dude. Like you guys, if you're not watching Trav Comics Limited on Whatnot, like all this, I pick these things up for like $3. It's like an insane. So good deals to be found for sure. And yeah, I got an Invincible #1, which I know it's not worth a whole ton, but it's a Free Comic Week Day Invincible #1.
I like just the audio that I got Invincible 1. It's not worth much, but
It's the FCBD
that
one,
version,
but
that version, yeah.
And then the New Mutants 98 facsimile, which I thought was pretty cool. The painted one. So there you go. I'll just cover it for you, Mike.
Oh yeah, no, you're doing all good, man. To answer Chris's request,
There she is.
I get it to focus there for you.
Hey, you know who'd make a really good Baroness?
Nobody.
Anna de Armas.
Great hair. What?
Anna de Armas.
No, she wouldn't.
Yeah, she'd be great.
She couldn't pull it off.
You don't think so?
She couldn't do it.
I don't know.
Who was that in the back? I mean, it was just me. It was just me. Wait, so why is Michael Scott yelling out his window somewhere? I didn't get that part.
I don't think I got that one.
Yeah, artist shows on Whatnot are really cool. I will. So speaking of Whatnot, this is what I wanted to say. I decided I'm gonna challenge myself a little bit. So I'm saying it so that I have to do it.
Okay, here it comes.
My plan is I think it's gonna be starting next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the following Tuesday.
All right.
I think I'm gonna start going live on Whatnot since my daughter's back in school. I have that time to kind of do that. I think I'm just gonna go on Whatnot for like an hour every Tuesday, just run some books. That one will probably just be like $2 starts on a bunch of cool covers and stuff.
What can it hurt, right?
Someone was peeking in on mine or back here.
Was it your daughter? Was your daughter back there?
It's possible. I didn't hear her, so if she was, she's running around.
She's ninja following
yeah.
you.
I didn't think you could see me. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably be doing that here. So I'll I think my Whatnot is in the description, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna try that. Just we're doing the Frankenstein in October.
Yeah,
that's a great way to sell some comic books, but I need to get rid of some more stuff before
that.
So
when I got that collection, I called the game store that I deal with, that they call me when comics come in, and I had made some bundles of books, right?
Yeah,
just to try out, see how they would go. And I think I dropped them off in like June, and I went back in July, and they're like, yeah, you sold like $80 worth of bundles. And I was like, okay, cool. And then when I called them about the Pokemon cards in this collection that I got, they were like, oh yeah, bring them by. And by the way, you almost completely sold out of bundles. So bring comics with you. So I was kind of gently nudged to start getting ready for Frankenstein. So I made 4 short boxes of stuff. If you guys are in the Pacific Northwest, it's in Longview, at the mall. They're right off of, which one is that called? That's the what is that mall called?
I was reading Trump's comments. The one in Kelso?
Yeah, the one in Kelso.
Three Rivers
Mall. Yeah, J&L Hobby, but I got like they're $3 a piece, or 4 for 10 or 10 for 20. So
nice.
So yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, so since I wasn't sure if this is in there, I'll just show this real fast.
Bronze Age Nerd.
Bronze Age Nerd is on Whatnot, has been on Whatnot before. Hey, check it out. 5-star rating, 127 reviews, 600 items sold, 762 followers. This guy's awesome. Look at this fast friendly service. 400
more sales, right? To get like instant payout.
Yeah, I haven't done this in so long too. I think my last live it's been a while. Let's see, when was my last live? Oh, yeah, that doesn't show. I got show previous shows.
They keep pinging me. They're like, "Hey, Big B, we think you'd be great." And I'm like, maybe. I don't know. But we may never know.
Shameless plug. If you want to follow me, I just pasted the link into chat. Feel free. If you don't, that's fine too. That's cool.
What days are you going to do it? Tuesdays?
I'm going to do Tuesdays. I'm not sure exactly what time yet. Maybe like 11 a.m. or something like that.
Starting next week?
Starting next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the week after. Yeah.
You should make sure you hit Trav up so you guys can cross-pollinate promoting each other.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. But yeah, just trying to, get some people some deals and get rid of some stuff that I don't need to have space for.
That's a great idea.
Trying to think what else we have to show off or talk about. I think that's kind of about it before we get to our main topic, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do art at the end of the show, right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
the problem is I may just go through. I just made a screen share the Discord channel where we chat.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, I do have something. I can share something really quick too.
Okay, yeah.
One other quick shout out. So this, you guys know I work in construction, and this is going to be a giveaway I'm going to do on my channel at some point. But I'm not shy about sharing my love of comics with people, and there's a crew of guys that work for the city of Longview, and they bought one of the guys. He was like, "Oh, there was a yard sale next door, and they had a pile of comics. You know, they were cheap, and so I bought them, and I read a bunch." And he's like, "Here, give these to your audience." So I'm going to do a giveaway at some point. But like, there's just like some random stuff. New Frontier. I mean, it's just weird stuff, but post nuke.
Tech World. Wow. Okay.
Flash, Constantine, I guess. I mean, yeah, it was Marvel stuff, but like just the most oddball. I mean, that's just a good one. Amazing Screw on Head. That's a good one. Nomad. Vertigo Winter's Edge. That's kind of cool. This one's a key, I think, because they used actual Native American garb and made them villains.
Yeah, it's a controversial issue for sure.
Yeah. And then an underground book, so from the 70s. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Women's comics with an eye. So yeah, I'll do a giveaway at some point on my channel for those. But shout out to Mac is his name. Mac, thank you for thinking of me and my audience, and thanks for enjoying.
That's awesome.
Comics, learning to enjoy comics. I mean, he's not a comic guy, but he's like, hey, you always talk about him, so I figured I'd read him, and there was some fun stuff in there. I was like, that's cool. So
right on.
Yes, I tell people outside of YouTube that I like comics. That's my catchphrase. There is share your love of comics with everyone you meet. You never know where it may lead you.
So, Big B, when it comes to our topic here,
yes, sir.
Where do you want to go first? And if so, which?
Go first. Okay, we want to go in the order of our list.
No, you go first, and whichever one you start talking about, I'll start queuing up the images that I have as visual aids, and I'll show those as we go along here.
So I'm gonna go try to look at the list so I could kind of just keep my stuff straight. Okay, so we decided we wanted to mix it up. We wanted to do not just Marvel or not just DC, but some indie, some Marvel, some DC. I want to do like a deep cuts one too, because I started doing that list, and I was like, man, there's some really deep cuts, some oddball stuff that people may never have heard of, but I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun to talk about. Like
women's comics from the 70s.
Yeah, that's definitely an adult book, by the way.
I can tell from the cover. Trust me.
So one of my favorite books from when I was a young lad is The Crow.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I was reading this well before the movie ever came out, and I was one of those, I don't know. Are all comic book people we romanticize the love stronger than death kind of thing? And
not all.
Yeah.
But I bet you there's a pretty good Venn diagram crossover there.
Right. So I loved this book when it came out. I'm upset with myself because I used to stockpile this book back in the day, and when I sold off all my comics, I wish I had multiple copies of all the issues still. But I still have a nice dog-eared, well-read copy of The Crow. I need to reread it again. The artwork is amazing. I just love his artwork. And it was very inspiring to me as a young artist as well, because not all of his stuff is perfect in here, but it's just so passionately drawn, and in many different mediums. He does watercolor painting in here. He does pen and ink drawing. He does all kinds of stuff, and he's super talented. And years later, it came out kind of the trauma that he went through in his life. This helped him work through, so that's even more meaningful to me. So and then the Brandon Lee movie, just yeah, it's amazing. So, you have some images to show, or
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
The first one though was just what you're showing, so I
yeah,
figured it was
yeah.
better
I
to
was just
show
showing. I tried to grab the
the
graphic
real
novel,
thing.
but I gave away one of my graphic novels on one of my channel giveaways, so I don't have it to show. But yeah, his artwork is really really good, and so
Mad Respect talking about the most recent remake. I haven't seen the most
I
recent
have
remake,
not watched the most recent one.
but it's funny because I know Comic Tropes is in the chat, and he did a reaction right after watching it. It was one of my favorite like visceral reactions to a movie. I'll just say, spoiler alert, he did not like it.
Yeah, I've heard from people that they weren't happy with the portrayal of Shelley in the
I've heard that too. Yeah,
remake.
a
So
lot of love for the Crow in the chat here. That's
yeah,
awesome. I will. So this is one of those times where and this will come up a lot in when we start doing lists like this. Remember, I have never claimed to be the most knowledgeable or well-read comic fan. I'm definitely not. I've actually never read The Crow.
I will loan you this graphic novel to read.
Sweet. I would love to read, because it's one of those things where, like, I think we all have this. Like, I have this with classic movies too. I have a whole list of classic movies I need to watch. I have a whole list of classic books I want to read. I have a whole list of classic, or timeless comics or iconic comics that I want to read. And especially at that time, I was still getting into indies. So there you go. Yeah, I love it.
Coming to you with the bronze figure.
I love it.
His artwork is so amazing. The story is a lot different than the movie, actually, but a lot very similar as well. There's some scenes that are directly taken right out of the book, and then there's a lot of different stuff in the book. So you'll probably enjoy reading it and seeing the different take.
I will say I absolutely love the original movie.
Yeah,
I like you just said, and they're not the same thing, but I've seen that movie a bunch of times. It's actually funny. There was this friend I had that came over, and she's like, it was one of the things, was like, she was a friend of a friend,
right?
And when she found out that I hadn't watched The Crow, she was like offended.
Right, you will watch this right now.
This was in like 1998 or something like that. I can't even remember what year it was. It was a long time ago.
Right.
But it's funny because this is the last person, and I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way. It's the last person I would have expected to be a fan of The Crow. And she's like, I'm bringing it over and you're watching. It's like,
it's
okay.
Such a good movie.
It's so good. I'm glad that she insisted I watch it, because I really liked it. I think for some reason, I knew about what happened to Brandon Lee, obviously. I think for some reason, I assumed, I don't know why, I think I assumed that the movie would be weird because he wasn't able to finish it.
That was a lot of people were really worried about that when it was being shot, but they did such a great job of blending, and they were mostly finished shooting it when that happened.
Right. So. I know there's a few little things in there, that you can kind of see that I think it's like mostly one scene, but I absolutely love the movie, and I've always wanted to read the comic ever since then. And it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, there's a lot of classic stuff that I just haven't read or watched in, different genres. Depends on what we're talking about. You've never seen The Crow.
His artwork though is so amazing, and it really inspired me to kind of branch out and do different medium of art, like instead of just the traditional pen and pencil stuff, to start doing like ink wash and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool.
But yeah, I'm stoked to read it, so I'm glad you're willing to do that.
I am definitely down to loan you a book anytime, my friend.
So it's funny. Part of the reason I actually say that is not just to be like checking a box saying like I haven't read it or whatever, but I was going through and Big B supplied some images, and I went and tried to go grab a few more just to kind of, I was doing it for mine, and I was like, oh, I'm ending up with more pictures than he had, so I wanted to try to get some more pictures for the books he was talking about. These are the ones you sent, or I went and grabbed like some higher quality ones or whatever, but there's the Crow movie poster, right? Which, by the way, is surprisingly hard to find a high res image of.
Right.
For the artwork in the background, you can find the artwork high res, but
Right.
the actual one sheet is really hard to find.
Yeah.
But this panel is what I found. This is from the original series, right?
Yes, that is right
Okay.
outside of
That's awesome.
the pawn shop. Yeah, right
Okay.
after he did that scene. That scene is right out of the book where
Yeah.
he has the shotgun and he throws the rings down the barrel of the shotgun and pulls the trigger. Man.
Oh, that's a good call on the
Great
soundtrack.
man. Yeah. Thrill Kill Call, The Cure. Yeah, it's just amazing soundtrack.
Yeah. That's great. That's really cool, Comic Drops. But yeah, so I found this image.
Really
I was just like,
cool.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, isn't that that's just look at all the cross hatching and stuff in that.
Yeah.
Man. Like, it is just so good.
Well,
Like,
to go along with what you're saying is some of the art's a little maybe kind of, from what I could tell. Again, I haven't read it, but some of it might be a little inconsistent in quality.
Yeah,
but then you see stuff like this.
Like, he's not like a professional Marvel guy, but I mean, it's perfect in its own right, the way it was done. And I love it to death. I mean, I hope that you will enjoy it as much as I did. It's really, really good. I had the good fortune of being able to read it without having any preconceived ideas of what it should be. So that was kind of cool. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that was the last image I put, but I just want to make sure before I move on to the next one so I don't spoil what else we got here.
Awesome sauce. That's a good topic. Best soundtracks of all time. That would be a really good topic. Tron,
good one.
Tron, the Daft Punk one.
That might be my number one, oddly enough.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's a lot of bad movies from like the 90s and early 2000s that have really good soundtracks.
Tropes. That's such a good quote. Mother is the name of God on the lips and hearts of all children. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that too. It is
is really, really good. So yeah, if you have not read that, I highly recommend reading it. Super good. Just nice. I mean, it's if you've seen the movie, you know, it comes from a place of sadness and kind of but it also has a kind of a message of hope to it too. So
right on.
So moving over to the Christopher LaFontaine Bronze Age Nerd list of amazingness.
I feel dumb. This is I was like looking through my list. I'm like, I should pick a different pick now after talking about something like iconic like The Crow. This is
your picks were all good. I mean, everything has its place in the stuff,
I'm
right?
being like, I'm just playing around. I'm just trying to make a transition here. It's funny here. You know, we have like I was mentioning earlier, we have several episodes of this plan, but they're going to be maybe by publisher or, you know, that kind of themed a little bit like maybe
I think like a deep dives one would be fun.
Yeah,
like a deep cuts.
So I think we've got like, I don't know, like 35 or 50 choices already. We're just talking about 10 tonight.
Right. Yeah.
So this one is one that this is the rare exception for me because this is the one that I actually did reread recently, which is the why it came to mind. Most of my picks tonight are ones I've only read once and I need to go back and reread because they are iconic and I think they deserve to be reread. This is one I did reread. And it is kind of appropriate too because Age of Apocalypse is coming back. And so let's talk about Age of Apocalypse. Age of Apocalypse is one of those things where I was reading almost all the X titles month to month as a teenager, and I was sending away to oh god, what was it called, American Entertainment or whatever, getting all my pulls from them.
They were kind of one of the early guys of like exclusives too, them and Dynamite, right?
Yeah, and so I sent away and I just asked for all the books basically.
the books.
it
Send me all the books.
yeah, and that's right. And it was kind of, kind of one of those things. I got all because what they did is, obviously people know, of course, they went 4 issues, took existing titles and basically transitioned them over to a new title. Kicked it off with a couple books. First of all, I had Legion Quest coming into it, which is not a great. I will say I reread the Legion Quest stuff going into Age of Apocalypse, and I remember being like, the quality is all over the place.
Right.
On that, I mean, it's fun.
I mean, it's
Legion,
okay for a lead-in.
yeah,
I mean,
Legion breaking the Emcron crystal and everything happening with the Xavier dying versus having lived in the dream and all that. That's the setup.
Right.
But the reread factor to me is, I think the initial reactions, maybe I'm wrong, because I was very much in it at that point. I was reading X-Men Monthly. This was a cool changeover to me, but I know there's people who thought that at the time, I got the sense that people thought Age of Apocalypse was kind of very 90s, very like edgy. Let's make all the characters, edgier and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I really enjoyed it because I like, different publisher, but Elseworlds kind of ideas. What if stories that were fleshed out in a fun way. Richard just said it. Age of Apocalypse is great because it's an ongoing what if story.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
It's an alternate timeline, but it isn't shoved down your throat. It's not like it's not an alternate timeline that really takes away from the core story, which that's the worst when you're watching a show or you're reading a comic book and you're doing an alternate timeline or an alternate reality they visit, and it kind of takes over the main reality. And this was kind of like just a fun little departure, get lost in this world for a while.
It reminded me of Days of Future Past, where we got to see a glimpse of something else. But yeah.
And it also, you got to see a glimpse of, a lot like Days of Future Past. You're in the middle of the story. You don't have to, they do like with X-Men Chronicles, which tells some of the important backstory about what happened in that world between the death of Xavier and kind of the current events that you're reading. But for the most part, it's pretty cool that it's just kind of like you're just set in this setting, and you kind of have to see the alternate versions of these characters. I think there's some really fun ones that happen along here. Like, I love the Rogue Magneto dynamic is great.
I love the way Sunfire looks.
Sunfire, that's his best look in my opinion. I have that figure. I love that version of
that's great.
Blink, who is a character that it's criminal that Blink wasn't used more after this whole event, I think.
Right.
Morph really came into his own. I mean, a lot of what people liked about Morph after that, like from Exiles and everything, kind of started in Age of Apocalypse.
I was going to say Blink. We got to see Blink with Exiles, which I really enjoyed that. I mean, not to take away from Age of Apocalypse, but just saying, like, mentioning Blink.
Oh yeah, no, it kind of laid the groundwork.
Right.
I love some of the, I know they've kind of changed his name to Nemesis now, but he was called Holocaust at the time. Apocalypse's son, all that stuff. I thought the whole idea of getting like Apocalypse is really, if you're going to talk about in-game villains for the X-Men, you can, Magneto is obviously okay, if you're going to draw a parallel here, here's the example I'd make. If Magneto is the Doctor Doom to the X-Men, like from the Fantastic Four would be, then Apocalypse is the Galactus. It's like he's the cosmic threat on a greater stage, kind of thing. And that's kind of a bad analogy, but it's kind of the way I think of it.
No, I don't think it's a bad analogy at all. I can buy into that. He's kind of like the end all be all of mutant existence. I mean, so yeah.
But I just love seeing, like, he was successful, at least the first phase of his plan, and then the artwork in these books is just nuts. Joe Mad going at the height of his powers. Chris Bachalo doing amazing stuff in Generation Next. The Kubert Andy and Adam were just doing great stuff.
There was a great lineup of artists in the X books at that time. Yeah, for sure.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. I mean, and just these giant shouldered, tiny waisted beings. I just love something about it. I just love.
I love Apocalypse's like his whole thing of like Xavier's always like wanting to help everyone to thrive and grow, and Apocalypse is like, screw the weak, just the death of the weak will make us all stronger. I mean, that's just like, yeah.
Well, and it's funny. I mean, I've talked recently about how there's echoes from things that happened in Age of Apocalypse that really are still playing off, like Dark Beast.
Yeah,
from Age of Apocalypse. We saw a lot of Dark Beast, in my opinion, at least in the Age of House of X kind of stuff, if you want to call it that. Hickman X-Men, with what happened to Beast and X-Force. Sugarman, Nate Gray, just amazing things that did have ramifications.
One of the big things to come out of that, right?
Yeah. X-Men. Also, I just pulled this because I think it's a really cool layout, splash page kind of a thing, but I love stuff like this, man. I just got, as a Booty fan, I got to point this out. That's
the just, Booty under the little flare up of the.
Yeah, that's just great. There's a lot of great blink shots like that. I'm pointing it out because I just noticed it for humor. But I love a lot of this stuff. I
thought you were gonna like point out something on Colossus or something. You're like, oh, look at the glutes on that guy.
There's actually, I don't know if I left it in, but there's a couple pages from Generation Next where Colossus is kind of the lead character. It has a heel turn kind of as well, that are just fantastic. Chris Bocciolo art. Of course, I love that Cyclops and Jean Grey found a way to be together. I was a huge fan of the Larry Hama Weapon X run that's in here. And what happens with the story is mostly Wolverine and Jean Grey, but you find out more about how Cyclops let Jean Grey out of the breeding pens, and they end up finding a way to team up, and it's just, that's cool to me. Here's that Weapon X series I was talking about.
Cover.
I love it. I love it.
So good. I love the portrayal of Wolverine in Deadpool Wolverine in this.
Yes,
it was so good.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. He kind of runs, he runs around. He's kind of lurking in the shadows. He was in the House of X stuff a little bit. What do we officially call that area? Do we call it Hickman's X-Men? Do we call it, because he kind of bounced after
he bounced it. They tried to take the reins of it away from him at the end, right? So
I heard that it was so successful they just wanted to pull it out basically and make it last longer than he intended.
Right.
So they kind of took his outline and just ran with
it. It is what it's supposed to be. And they were like, no, we want to do this with it. And he's like, I'm out.
I want to highlight this real fast. So Comic Trips, obviously a friend of the show, and we're fans of his. He's doing a Patreon exclusive video about Age of Apocalypse, and I am super excited about that. For those that don't know, he does have a Patreon. It's a great way to support him as one of, and I'm just saying, this is just my opinion, I think one of the most important YouTubers doing comic book videos out there that at least educates me on stuff I didn't know about, shares knowledge, and does really cool retrospectives.
I will echo that sentiment. I thought you might enjoy all of your stuff, Chris.
Yeah. And just straight up, that's just how I feel about it. So, but yeah, it's Age of Apocalypse. It's not just great 90s art. The writing is actually pretty solid in most of the series. There's a couple Gambit and the Externals. I don't love some of the twists and turns it takes, for example. I think maybe it wraps up a little too quickly, where it actually could have kept going for a little bit longer.
That would be my what I didn't like about it is that I felt like we had these 4-issue arcs, and a lot of it I wanted to see more.
Yeah. Kind of the I don't know if it would technically be the climax of the story. It kind of feels like it could have, in a weird way. I rarely feel this way about comics. It could have maybe been stretched out a little bit. But hey, if my biggest criticism of it is that it could have been longer, that's probably right. It's probably a pretty good criticism. Leave them wanting more, as they say.
Right.
I really like it, and like I said, going back and rereading it, a lot of it holds up. A lot of it is, um, you could make the argument that they're filler stories. The beauty of the Age of Apocalypse is if you go look at if you haven't read it, that's kind of the idea of why we're doing this, or you haven't read it in a while, and you don't want to reread everything. Kind of go look at each title and just be like, do I really care about those characters? And if you don't, you can probably skip it. Make sure you read Alpha. Make sure you read Omega.
I don't know that I don't know that it's like that. It's filler stories as much as you're learning, like you say, about specific characters. Like you can read about the characters that you want to read about. I found it like the really fascinating the ones where they had all the other heroes that weren't mutants. You had the Hulk and everyone else and stuff. That was a cool little like one shot or two issue thing they did. Universe or
right, where they told the story about all the other heroes and what happened.
Yeah, like what happened to everybody, how all the ripples affected everyone else. And so I thought that was really interesting too.
And they've gone back. And when I did the reread, I actually had never read any of the additional stuff after, except for the part where Exiles crosses over back into that universe. But there are probably, I want to say like 20 issues, maybe 25 issues of stuff written since the Age of Apocalypse that goes back, and either it's limited series that take place during that time, or it kind of tells the story about what happened afterwards. Basically, Wolverine kind of ends up becoming the host of the apocalypse, sort of like the energy of what's going on in that world. And it's kind of it's I wouldn't say it's necessarily worth reading all that. It's kind of interesting, but I did like the greater world that's built there, and I loved learning about all the details of it. I pretty heavily agree with what Chris said here. The core books, the Astonishing X-Men, Factor X, and Weapon X, which is X-Men, X Factor, and Wolverine books, were good. The Generation Next and Gamma and the External stuff, Generation Next, I like the artwork. The story's a little tedious, though, like he's saying here, it's a little superfluous.
The artwork was stunning, though.
Yeah, and if you're, even if you just like, if you have Marvel Unlimited or something like that, even just scanning through the artwork, if you don't want to read the story, is worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's Bachelor, right?
Yeah, and I love just the there's I can't remember what happens in it because it's been a little while since I've reread it, but there's like stuff bubbling out of Colossus at one point out of his like he just does that stuff so well,
right?
Those kind of weird little effects.
His art sometimes, like you say, I can look at his art sometimes and not even care what's going on in the story. I'm just looking at the art going, wow.
Yeah, his Doctor Strange stuff is still some of my favorite stuff that's ever been done. But yeah, a lot of great creators at the height of their creative storytelling is basically how I'd look at it. So that's kind of my recommendation for number one. How about which one do you want to cover next, sir?
I'm gonna cover my first exposure to a new artist. I talked about like my first time I ever saw Todd McFarlane on the newsstand at Fred Meyer, and I'm like, wow, look at those crazy spaghetti webs. And like, I was lucky enough to see issue 298 on the newsstand right the day it came out, and going like, wow, that is so different. This guy, when I saw his art the first time, it was so different. It was one of those guys that broadened my mind as to how comics art could be. And a lot of my friends were like not sure that they eventually everybody jumped on this boat, but it's going to be Arthur Adams. The Long Shot miniseries. Seeing this come out on the newsstands back in the day, super good. His art is just, just stunning. I got some examples of stuff that I pulled, but just amazing stuff. It really well written, and Senti just so good. It was kind of a mind trip to read this as a kid, because I was so used to the basic writing style of like stuff that was coming out through Marvel and stuff. Yeah. And it was so different. it almost hurt my head to try to wrap my head around the storytelling the way it was being done, because it was different. I was used to straightforward superhero trope stuff, and it was much more, I would say, almost like high functioning sci-fi going on in the background of that story.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so good. We get to see, our first appearance of a major X-Men villain, underrated book. Mojo, first appearance of Mojo in that book. But yeah, just seeing his art style and the way that he drew, just there we go. There's a Christina Payne cover. We got Spidey and She-Hulk. But yeah, just the way that he drew the characters. I mean, look how leggy She-Hulk is in that picture. It's like,
yeah,
wait and see this the way that he draws, and all the line work, the fine detail, just a lot more, just not what we were used to seeing from basic Marvel books. So I just loved it. And Arthur Adams taught me how to draw feet.
Nice.
I would looking at his stuff. He was a big influence on my art style from a young age, and like I would look at the way he drew feet, and so he was good. He's good at drawing feet. Ricochet Rita, Spiral, Mojo, just some great characters in the book. And if you guys haven't read it, really good. Like at the same time as reading that, I think I was reading the Rocket Raccoon miniseries, which is Mignola, and also like much more sci-fi. We're in a different world in that book, just like we are in Longshot. Well, Longshot's crossing over between the Mojoverse and Earth, but so just like stuff. It was really cool because it kind of just like expanded my experience of reading comics.
And I gotta apologize to you, man. I thought I was doing this late last night. I thought I pulled an interior page for everything, at least that you'd recommend. I didn't do it.
An interior page to show you. Let's see.
Yeah, because I've only got about half this miniseries in my collection right now, so there's some of it I'm not even familiar with.
Here we go. Here's Longshot fighting Spider-Man.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
nice.
Just some great stuff. His art is just amazing. And like,
refresh me, who's the writer on this?
Ann Nesenti.
Okay.
Yeah, really well done. And just his little buddy monster starts becoming not so buddy later on in the book. So
nice.
But yeah, just a really, really good story. And characters that we ended up seeing in the Marvel universe later on, that was Spiral and Mojo and what's it?
Yeah, I mean, you look at like
Minor Domo. Is it Minor Domo? Is that his name? Or Major Domo?
Major Domo, I think.
Major Domo. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, X-Men 97 had that Mojo episode too. It
was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, definitely still around.
Such a different idea, like the Mojo verse where everyone's just dying for entertainment, wanting to, and so that's his whole thing, is he can do anything to get the ratings, right?
It's so weird. It's so weird to me, like, kind of talking about that. I feel like in the greater history of, especially the X-Men sub Marvel universe, I feel like Mojo / Spiral are a bigger thing to this point than Longshot is now.
Yeah, Longshot has been kind of underused, I think. Yeah. I mean, he did join the X-Men for a while.
Right.
I mean, we get him with Doctor Strange at one point during the book. So he does cross over with, you get Spider-Man, you got She-Hulk, you got Doctor Strange.
In that series quite a bit. Absolutely.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is in there. Mojo and Arcade, that is a good point there, Chris.
I like both for different reasons, but you're totally right, Chris. But I like Mojo because it kind of is a not very subtle like play on like American, not just consumerism but consumption. The way we consume content.
So you're saying you don't have this in your collection, but you could read this on Marvel Online though, right?
I'm not sure if it's on Unlimited.
Do you want me to put this aside with the Crow for you?
Yeah, you can let me borrow it. Yeah, because I've read chunks of it, but I haven't read the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It is set aside for you to read, sir.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. And Arthur Adams has just been on my mind a lot recently. I don't know why. It just
Art Adams, his art, man. Whew. Yeah, just stunning.
So we have a friend who just got an Arthur Adams sketch on a Jam PC starting.
Yeah.
And it's a Colossus, and it's gorgeous. So if you guys want to go check out Colossus Collectors socials, I think he posted on his Instagram, I think.
I had to turn him under. I just randomly ran across, there's a gal who is basically like the Colossus collector gal. She dresses up like Colossus and everything with body
nice.
and everything too.
That's cool.
That's like, hey, you guys might get along.
Let me make an introduction. No, great one. I'm glad you brought that one up.
Yeah, I cannot speak highly enough of Arthur Adams' art style. It is stunning. And
I love his like stuff on New Mutants, especially is also really good.
I like exposure to different, like a lot of the artists I'm going to talk about tonight in writers as well. Like I was a very young reader at the time when I was reading these things, and they broadened my horizons and made me more aware of the world around me.
Thanks, Richard.
And things that were available to read, and the way things could be written and drawn. So,
yeah. Moving on to the next recommendation. This was my recommendation for not a title that most people are not going to be aware of. It's very, very famous, but I will say, in a weird way, Jeff Johns' Green Lantern stuff is what got me into DC more. I was reading it shortly after it came out, like Rebirth and stuff. I was reading that shortly after it came out. And it's not like I never had read DC stuff. Like I kind of checked into Batman quite a bit during different events, and I Death of Superman and all that kind of stuff. But and more than that, but not a lot more. And I always kind of had a problem connecting to a lot of DC stuff. But Jeff Johns' Green Lantern stuff had me hooked. I was curious about the character, and unanimously, everyone I asked for suggestions, like in my comic book space, local comic shops, that kind of stuff, suggested it. So, but I'm not going to talk about Rebirth or even War of the Lanterns or whatever. I'm going to talk about Blackest Night. Yeah. Of course, the other Jeff Johns stuff is just as important. It all leads up to this, of course. But Blackest Night is just such a fun event, such a cool moment for me. It really helped me solidify my love of like the Green Lantern cores. I know we were mentioning different Green Lantern, the rainbow of cores, if you will, in here earlier.
Right.
And man, this is just it's kind of what got me into all that, with the different heroes getting the different lantern rings to fight the uprising of dead. Love this, love it. It's great. Ivan Reyes' art is just
that's great. Yeah,
it's just as I can't. This is one of those things where I don't want to just give Jeff Johns credit. He deserves it. But Ivan Reyes, when he does and he doesn't do the art on every single tie-in and all that kind of stuff. But for the main stuff, his art is just fantastic. I did these are just some highlights I got here.
You almost feel like it's the same thing as they say with the X-Men run, where they said the costumes by what's his name? Where you're saying Jeff Johns, Johns.
It's the Grant Morrison X-Men costume.
Yeah, Grant Morrison had nothing to do with the X-Men costumes, but everyone gives him the credit and said it quietly, right?
Exactly.
So, look at that splash page. That's just insane. That's great.
And to Chris, to your point, like Rebirth is the better saga for me here. Blackest Night to me was kind of I know it went on, Brightest Day and the First Lantern and all that kind of stuff. I kind of trailed off after Blackest Night. This to me was the climax of the Jeff Johns era. But I enjoyed Rebirth a little bit more. But to me, this is, this is accessible for people that just want to see characters they're brought back to life. They want to see, heroes become part of the Black Lantern Corps, and they want to see unlikely heroes have to step up. That was one of my favorite parts of this. Seeing the corps work together was pretty fun after kind of what happens in Rebirth and everything. And the artwork, I can't stress that enough. It's really important to me in this one. It's
probably not wearing much there.
She's not. Appreciation. I love it, and there's just something about it. It's just great for me, and I think this.
Wow.
There's an argument to be made that it's kind of pandering to what was going on with zombie stuff at the time, or kind of an answer to Marvel Zombies, maybe, or Walking Dead, that kind of stuff. Obviously, which obviously Kirkman was involved in both of those, heavily, created both of them.
Right.
But I think it's just
that's
fun.
a really good panel, though.
Yeah, it's a really good panel. Here's another Ivan Reyes appreciation spread. But also
you
just
could get some of that original artwork. Are you gonna be all over that?
Oh God, I could. There's no way I could afford like this page. I would be all over it if I could afford it.
Did you ever get that?
I'll have something to show off next week. It looks like.
Okay. I was like, man, that should have been there pretty soon, right?
So, but something you said about, you got Mira stabbing Aquaman through the freaking heart.
Right.
That's cool.
Great.
And just, I don't know, there's just like the constant, like the ring selecting lanterns, like happening throughout this series that just, it kind of gets to you. It's like that repetition where you're like, man, there's just so many characters dying, or so many characters changing cores or whatever. It's just fun seeing things like Scarecrow joining the Orange Lantern Corps, and just all these different things are just great. Speaking of Crow,
kind of bringing the whole DCU into the core mythos, right?
Yeah. And then actually, I'll mention this. This is actually a great point. It expected you to know a lot of DC lore on who was alive and who was dead, and that was the fun part for me, is I didn't know a lot of that stuff because, like I said, I wasn't very.
So were you kind of going like, what? When did he die?
And since this came out at a perfect time where the internet was around and it wasn't necessarily as polarized as it is today, like you could actually go and find lots of good information and people talking about it and explaining it, and that was kind of fun to go learn about some stuff like that. And so that's, I think, the whole, spoiler for a future episode, the whole Jeff Johns Green Lantern, all his major arcs and different chapters of his saga there are worth rereading. This is definitely one of them, though. If you're into any of that, I think it was
talking about breaking down different
yeah
arcs and chunks. That's definitely a really good chunk of that, or arc of that creative team there.
I like it a lot. Let's put it that way.
I like from that very first issue they did with the Alex Ross cover.
Yeah.
That book was just fire.
The internet was pee, or the internet was peak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the internet was once peaceful. Yeah.
Once peaceful.
Man. especially like, man, using the internet in like 1998 specifically. That's the year I'll pull. That was a lot of fun. It kind of has such. Yeah, what's up, man? I want to say hello to Damien. Got Norin in the chat.
Norin, that piece you just posted on Instagram the other day was stunning, dude.
That was great, man. Everybody go check out Rad Art and Comics over on Instagram. You've seen his art featured on here before, of course, but whew.
Yeah, I think you outdid yourself on that piece, man. That was great.
So Bigby, which reread are you going to suggest next?
Well, I will suggest the one that I do not. I gave away the graphic novel I had on my channel to a subscriber for my monthly giveaway because I thought it was so good. So it's going to be another artist that when I was first exposed to, I would say this is probably, I wasn't first exposed to Frank Miller during his Daredevil run. It was through Dark Knight that I first really got exposed to Frank Miller. Well, okay, wait. No, I saw him in one of my other suggestions too. But this style of his art,
Yeah.
So this way that he was doing his stuff.
Wait, before you get into it, I have an important question for you.
Yes.
In this image, is Batman facing away from the camera perspective or toward the camera perspective? What's your take, baby?
Yes.
Okay. Good answer.
It could
Good
be
answer.
either way, actually, the way that you look at it, depending on the way you're looking at it. You could put the legs either way you could do that. So
It is one of those fun things that came up like on Twitter or something like a year
it's
ago.
it's open to interpretation. And basically the way is his shoulder in front of his head, or is his head in front of his shoulder? You don't really know.
That's where I'm at too, Red Art. But yeah, but it is, I can see it both ways too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hydra Slam had a really important question here. So what issue does Anna de Armas show up in the Dark Knight? Did she show up in the Dark Knight?
Yeah.
I think we might need to consult the footage.
Let's check the replay.
Anna with your smoky eyes, dancing through ballerina, kiss me goodbye. You throw a punch, I say please, I'd like another. After Blade Runner, I'll never recover. Anna with your smoky eyes, dancing through ballerina, kiss me goodbye. You throw a punch, I say please, I'd like another. After Blade Runner, I'll never recover.
Just had to wake everybody up there a little bit. I know I could use a little pick me up. Hey, what's up, Lyle? Appreciate it. Lyle, before you go, want to weigh in on whether or not Batman's facing away from the camera or toward the camera?
Towards the camera. That's right.
Yeah.
And those of you watching on the replay, tell us what you think.
Yes, absolutely. Even more fun is figuring out Batman's anatomy in the Todd McFarlane Year 2 cover.
We're not gonna. That's a way to get some hate mail.
Yeah.
But yeah, really. So I will say that when this book came out, I was very much a Marvel zombie. Like you're saying, kind of exposed me to the fact that DC could be pretty cool. And I mean, I knew who Batman was and everything, but like this
Batman.
What's that?
Batman?
Is there a man that's a bat? No, but I mean, this future take, this kind of almost like I felt like almost like a Days of Future Past kind of thing going on, where I'm like being able to see this dystopian future with Batman and everything, and I was like, I was very jazzed about that. I liked it a lot, which I think a lot of people did. Unfortunately, this kind of really took us down. Every character has to have this dark, terrible. We got this take on every character known to man after this. Hey, Trav, how you doing?
Yeah, shout out to Big Nasty. Shout out to Comics Limited. A couple other people joining in. Love seeing you here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I know what you're saying for sure. Like it definitely. I mean, this. But did it do it, or was it kind of just this period of Watchmen?
This was a book that made it happen. That it was so well received that we started seeing a really, really dark take on every character. We didn't really need to see that, I don't think.
Thanks, Lyle. Appreciate the vote.
But that being said, I really enjoyed this book. If you guys have not read it, I have not read all of the subsequent volumes that have come out since. I need to do that.
Okay.
But the original series is amazing.
I only read the Dark Knight 2 or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called.
You never read the original?
No. I mean, I've read the original, and as far as the follow-ups, I've only read
the follow-ups. Okay.
I've definitely read the original a couple times. By the way, I'm leaving this one up here because I was going to say, there's people that talk about like modern Frank Miller art, and they're like, modern Frank Miller art, it's so weird. He's never been like that before. He's had some of those tendencies before.
Right. This was kind of a weird cover. but this Miller and Jansen teaming up is very forgiving for Miller's art, I think.
Yeah.
When you have Miller and Jansen teaming together, yeah,
This one's
and
Lynn
he said,
Harley looks like.
yeah, to be said, like his layouts and stuff are spectacular.
Yeah.
And great master storyteller. So
Yep, it's absolutely iconic in comic books. Saw this on your list and I was like, yep. I mean, it's hard to talk about any list of best comics and not have this come up. And then so for a reread, it makes perfect sense.
It is.
I'm
It
glad
is.
you-
I will say there are some stuff in that book that is very dated. You got Dr. Ruth Westheimer in there, and
Yeah.
a lot of
References that may not land.
Ronald Reagan is the president in there.
Yeah.
Um,
So I threw in a page here. I wanted to make sure we had a page because the interior, because the covers are so
such a great page.
well
That's a
known.
good
But
page.
if you haven't read it in a while and you forget, the and there's I could have shown every page of this, and it would have been worth looking at. But just trying to grab some extra stuff here. Comics Limited says, I think if it was just Watchmen, then the darkness in the regular series would not have happened. It was the crossover into Batman that changed everything. Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's kind of this anti-hero, or not deconstruction of hero is really what I want to say. It's deconstruction of the hero narrative that happened at the end of the Copper Age that really kind of it's interesting. It's had a lasting effect on comics.
There's a book I'm going to bring up later on, which is a kind of a deconstruction, but it's in a positive tone. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll get to that one later, but yeah, I super enjoy this book. Highly recommend it. And if you haven't read it, give it a shot. It's really good.
And this is one that I didn't recently read this, but I read it back in the day, which was a Tuesday, as the Dane Cook joke goes. And then every time I say that, I always think of that joke. And then I reread this maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago, and it was still really good. Like you said, kind of, some of the references don't land as well, but it's still. I mean, if you're old enough to know what those references are, then yes.
I think this is the first time too we get a final showdown with him and the Joker, or or a final fatal showdown with him and the Joker. Spoiler alert!
And that's a big moment for the character, And I mean, obviously, it's almost a I don't even know how DC considers it. Is it kind of an Elseworlds at this point, or is it just sort of a possible future that hasn't happened, or could happen?
I don't know. That's
I don't think it's considered
like a Days of Future Past kind of thing, where it's like this is a possible future that could happen in the DC universe, or yeah.
I don't know where they kind of fall on that these days, but
it was funny because DC has always been kind of the brighter, sunnier kind of universe. Even like in the JLA Avengers crossover, the Justice League, when they come to the Marvel universe, so like, how could you let things get so bad? And and it's like that. It's like
such a important story, such a great story, perfect addition to the list, man. Good job on that one.
Good stuff. Thanks, man. So what is your next pick?
Well, I'm gonna go right in the same time. I actually kind of just called an audible because I think it just plays perfectly into what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
When I talk about deconstruction of the hero concept, I think Alan Moore is somebody that's synonymous with that. But a lot, you'd probably think I was going to talk about Watchmen if I just said that. It's not the one I had prepared. It's a great comic. You should reread it too, of course. It's one of my favorites. This isn't necessarily a deconstruction of the hero concept, but I think for a lot of other reasons, this is a really interesting book to reread right now. And I felt that way for a while too. I'm not being super current when I say that. But I think that as time moves on, this is interesting to go back and read. And I will tell you that this is again, most of my picks, I haven't reread this. So I read this at some point in the 90s. I don't remember it wasn't like super late in the 90s. And then I think I reread it once like in 2002 or something maybe, but I haven't read it in more than 20 years. So I forgot a lot. I'm sure there's details in here that I don't remember, all that kind of stuff, little plot points. I just remember really liking it, really liking the theme. I'll be honest, I've seen the movie a bunch of times since then. It's probably kind of overwritten some of my memory of some of the plot points. But that said, it's still groundbreaking.
Yeah, it is just
emotional,
phenomenal. It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's kind of like it broadens your awareness of like how stories can be told and what can be told in those stories, right? Just
and by the way, I was a pretty big fan of the movie. I do think it could have been better, but I think it told the gist of what needed to happen. But it could be more faithful to the material too.
I thought it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I just acknowledge that there's probably some opportunities there, but it's really good. It's one of those things where it's impossible for me to talk about this book about being political, but on a very surface, 10,000 feet in the air viewpoint is what I'm talking about. I'm not going to talk about like this
Nothing
party, that
specific.
party, and that kind of stuff. But I am going to say that like just the power of the people, the power of the establishment, regardless of what your beliefs are, it's a very important dynamic. And this book does remind us of that lesson. It's poignant in how it does it. And it touches on some really interesting themes. It really goes some places. I really enjoy it and appreciate it for that.
Yeah, it's an amazing book.
I will say that I remember when I reread this in the early 2000s, which is a long time ago now, I remember not being a gigantic fan of the artwork. As somebody who's like, I tend to like when great writing meets great art. And I'm usually okay with great art carrying a comic.
Like some of the other guys that I know that you like.
Yeah.
But it is very fitting for the story, I think.
It definitely is. But if you're used to a certain style of art, it may not be as appealing to you. I remember reading this much more as like a novel, like you could say a graphic novel, but I remember reading it more as almost like a novel.
Right.
And I don't want to take anything away from any of the creative team here, but it's not my preferred style, is all I'm saying. But I still loved it.
Yeah, I think that that it is done so well. I mean, it is a complex story to tell.
Yeah.
And so anyone doing the art for his writing, they've got no small task in front of them to tell this story. It's not just a bunch of punches being thrown and like haymakers and slobber knockers, right? It's a very complex story.
Great point, Damien. Sleepy Reader 666 pointing out that the original artwork was meant to be black and white. And it's funny, as you said, that I basically switched over to this panel, which is black and white, and definitely it has an extra power to it, I think, in that format. And then Comics Limited coming in, I think it's definitely relevant today, all the way back to when it came out. The movie is in my all-time favorite movies, and it's it's tough to dance around because I really do not appreciate bringing anybody down regardless of their beliefs when it comes to things like comic books. Occasionally I'm willing to do it depending on the subject matter, but I'll just say that I think like people who really think about issues like, can somebody change the world, can you make a difference? Not saying you should make a difference in the same way that V makes a difference necessarily. I'm just saying, like, it is one of those things where it's good fiction because it brings you to the questions that are relevant to real life, which is, could somebody actually alter the course of socio-political events by their own actions? And it is a fascinating question to me.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I think like the question you raised there, like, can you change the world, or can you? I think that every day our actions can change the world.
yeah,
Just
sure,
what we do. Like, I've
yeah,
talked about trying to encourage young people to become comic readers and stuff, and giving books away to people and stuff and everything, and being a positive force in that line. I think anything that we do, we can change the world. Just through our actions. They don't have to
yeah,
be grandiose and dramatic, like geopolitical kind of things, but just being a positive force for the people around you and trying to instill positive values in younger people. And
yeah.
so
And that's, I mean, a big part of why I read comic books is escapism,
right,
and I love it for that. But some comic books for me elevate to a level where they do ask the big questions that I always love it. Like when great science fiction novels um ask capital B big questions.
right, right,
And,
right.
and they do it through that sci-fi lens, which is always one of my favorite things about good science fiction, like hard science fiction, or things like that. And yeah, it's absolutely interesting when a comic book can do that. And there's some of my favorite reads of all time do that. I mean, I think, I'll just throw out a few out there. Like, I think Sandman does that. I think
Right.
Walking Dead does that. And those are a couple of the more mainstream examples. There's definitely some more indies or underground kind of stuff that
Like
definitely does it.
reading Walking Dead, when I did, like, made me think of, like, yeah, what would my life be like if I didn't have all the distractions of the electronic noise and the news and the media that I watch every day and everything, and it was just
Yeah.
focused on the people around me and those that I care about and love. How would I treat them differently, and why am I not treating them that way now?
Right.
So yeah, it is interesting when fiction can make you think about things going on and re-examine the way that you live your real life.
To Comics Limited point, Ray Bradbury is one of my favorite authors of all time. So I will heavily support that. Ray Bradbury and Kurt Vonnegut Jr., two of my favorite science fiction writers out there. So, however, we need to move it along if we want to finish the show on time. So I'm going to turn it over to you for your next pick, sir.
All right, well, I'll go with another Frank Miller. I misspoke when I said that was one of my first probably exposure to Frank Miller would be the Wolverine miniseries with Frank Miller and Chris Claremont. Much different art style, obviously, but also a wonderful, awesome story. When we get our first real chance to examine Wolverine on his own, and it's his being the main focus of the story. Yeah, it just yeah, obviously you're looking at the covers here versus the Dark Knight stuff. Miller's style is much different in this.
Yeah.
But just a great story, really getting us to understand Wolverine more as a character, and him trying to overcome the things that he has in the way of his life to try to, like, he wants, to find his way through to, well, love and happiness, right?
Yeah. And
trying to understand a
Wolverine,
completely different culture in this story, which is so great because you
right.
start off here in the Canadian wilderness, and then you end up and you're going through the whole, yeah, him being exposed to all of that and the whole samurai culture and everything too. And so that in and of itself is really interesting.
I love this limited series. This oh boy, I'd really have to think about this more. But the thought that came to my head is this might be the best limited series of all time.
It
Like
is
maybe
it
like
is,
solo character limited series, maybe.
yeah, it is really well done. Just the fact of him, like, wrestling with the fact of, like, trying to do the right thing, but then the whole thing of not just doing the right thing, but honor and disgracing a family or disgracing someone who you care about, but still trying to do the right thing. I mean, it's really multifaceted. If you guys haven't read it, it's really, really good.
And this is, for me, besides Sin City, this is my favorite Frank Miller artwork that I can pull. In my head, like I'd have to go back and look at some of the Daredevil stuff again. I might change my mind after if I reread.
Because Daredevil stuff, like I say, him teaming up with Klaus Janson on a lot of stuff is really, really, really good.
Agreed.
An amazing pairing of artists. But I super enjoyed this series. This was kind of some. I gotta say, I really appreciate the era that I grew up in comics, where some of my first exposures to these characters were such great series that I got to read, and the amazing creative teams that were on them. So
yeah. And shout out to a piece that Big B did that's an homage to this cover.
Yeah, I did.
It's really a fantastic piece.
That was for Heroes for Heroes, right?
I think it was your first piece. Yeah. Oh, let me.
Here's my graphic novel of that. So,
yeah.
Hardcover.
I love that.
Yeah. So, got that cover in the back. But yeah, super good book. If you guys haven't read it, amazing read. It's been printed many, many times, and it's widely available if you can get the original issues to it. But if you can get a graphic novel, really, really enjoyable book, and you will not be disappointed. Anything you got to say about it?
I love it. I read it. It's one of those ones where it's a little similar to Long Shot, where I actually I only read like issue 1 for a long time, and then I finally went through and read the whole thing, and I just had a greater appreciation for Wolverine. And kind of, it's funny, like my X-Men reading was definitely, I read monthly for a long time, but for stuff that happened before, I had kind of a hodgepodge knowledge of it. And I always knew, Wolverine's got like this connection to the East and stuff like that. But I didn't really understand all of it. Like it was more references, like as you go back and visit like Madripoor or Japan or something like that. And it definitely was a fascinating read. I think it's again, like, I mean, a couple people agreed there. I think it's probably the best limited series of all time. I would have to think about that again before I just fully go on record saying that, but that comes to mind. I think it's on the short list.
It's one of the earlier miniseries to ever come out. I mean, you had Contest of Champions, you had Hercules, and then I think Wolverine. So like,
set a high bar.
Yeah, it's one of the very early miniseries to come out.
I am going to I love it. That's what I'll say. But I'm going to pivot to our next one. I want to keep it going. I was looking at we got quite a few more to go through here.
Right.
This one, exactly. Rad Art and Comics. That's kind of what I was kind of maybe. I think it's. I'd have to lock it in for that at least.
It's great for the growth of the character to watch.
Yeah,
because our understanding of him was so limited at that point too. So it's like,
yeah, especially in the context of when it came out, in that character's progression. Dark Phoenix Saga is my almost layup reread, I will say, because it's just such a great story arc. I wanted to make sure I took like an actual chunk of a story for one of my picks. Just so happens that this is one that's really near and dear to me. It's hey, what's up, Popsequentialism? How's it going?
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
dude,
really
that's a nice
appreciate
compliment.
that.
Well deserved.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So think about in the context of X-Men history, how important this storyline is. It's just the character introductions alone in this Dark Phoenix Saga. I mean,
huge.
It's massive. It's massive.
Right.
Between Shadowcat and Dazzler and White Queen, You got, speaking of solo series, you know, I mean, the first Wolverine solo
right?
story.
Right.
Great issue too. It's actually going back and rereading all the early Wolverine stuff. This really solidified like why I could see why Wolverine became as popular as he did after I went back and reread this at one point when I was younger.
It's so good. I mean, and
yeah.
John Byrne, true.
Hey, man.
Good night, Trav. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, John Byrne, just amazing. And I love Jean Grey. I love the Phoenix. I'm a huge fan of Cyclops and Phoenix together, as people know. Like, I don't really need to retread all that ground. I think John Byrne and Chris Claremont are, in my personal opinion, are the best team up of my comic book reading lifetime.
And you know, like shout out that last one you just showed. Shout out to, we just talked about Jim Shooter. They were gonna let Phoenix off the hook, and he's like, no, she has to die. That's why they put Phoenix Must Die on the cover. He's like, he murdered an entire planet of people. We can't just let her get away with it, you know. And
it ties into so we talked about a little bit about John Byrne's kind of doing his own what if, his own reimagining of, you know, what if the things have gone a little bit differently, and that's kind of the starting off point for his stuff he's been doing.
That they're putting that out as an official kind of a what if type of deal. That's really cool. And such great artwork.
The book, if you do read this, my recommendation is to go and read Phoenix: The Untold Story after you get finished with the Dark Phoenix saga. If you're just reading this isolated, if you're reading I guess that's a good idea either way. But there's just so many great, powerful, emotional moments in here. Like, you can make the argument that comic books are soap operas, and I would totally understand what you're talking about. Right. There's a lot of great moments in here that showed me as a younger reader that comic books can have an impact. They're not just gee golly whiz, which is fine. Right. If that's what you like, great, more power to you. They're not just beat 'em ups. They're not just, but there's a lot of emotion here. I think it's a huge part of why Cyclops and Jean Grey are two of the characters that I associate a lot with, is because of stuff I read early on with them and how powerful this relationship was. Here's a little shot from the teaser for the Alone issue.
How much do you feel that comics has affected you personally, as far as your ethics and the way that you think about the world? Like, do you feel that it has changed you as a person?
It's a good question. You know what? That'd be a great topic for a show.
Right. Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that next week?
Okay.
Because I have an answer to that, but I also feel like I could kind of flesh out my thoughts on that a little bit.
Okay, that sounds good.
Great question. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this to me, it's just pinnacle storytelling in that.
I think it would be cool to get some guests for that too, if we can get some people. So
if we can put it together.
We have Chris, Tropes, if you're watching, we'd love to have you on and talk about that as well with you, I'm sure. So yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. You're
your burn stuff there. That's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Pop sequentialism. There's a really good Chris Claremont documentary on Amazon right now. And it's really good. He goes into that whole Phoenix Shooter, Byrne, and him going back and forth about Phoenix thing. And it's really interesting. And they go with not just Claremont, but
Louise Simonson. Yeah, she gets involved in it too.
Yeah, and Nacenti also, I think, is in there, right? And a bunch of the people in the bullpen. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Wheezy,
right. Yeah. Good stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail your thought process.
No. You're fine.
When you started talking about the whole what it meant to you and everything, I'm like, man, I wonder how much that comics have shaped and affected the way that we think and view the world, and
For sure.
how we carry ourselves in daily life.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think that's worthwhile discussing. I think that I could devote more time to that. I think you could too.
Yeah,
So I'd love
it'd
to
be
talk
fun.
about it in a longer format.
Right.
Speaking of longer format, kind of a prestige format, kind of an Elseworlds thing. Let's go with Big B's last pick here.
My next book right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, whoa! Look at you.
Mm,
Gotta do that for a second.
my hardcover. Yeah. My
Nice.
great Alex
That's a
Ross.
gorgeous hardcover.
Amazing book. It's usually up here. I had to replace its spot with Grendel, but usually it's up here behind me. But yeah, amazing book. Talking about more about, like you said, the deconstruction of the hero mythos. I thought that this was really interesting to me as a reader. Alex Ross's art is stunning, just blew me away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just the idea of the difference of thought process between, and Grendel's going to be on one of my upcoming talks, North. But yeah, just the idea that the difference between the thought processes between the generations of the heroes and villains, and also this kind of spoke to the idea of the heroes becoming that dark, gritty Dark Knight character, where they didn't care about the people and everything else. That's what they're talking about, that new generation of heroes that don't really connect the way that the Golden Age characters did, and the characters from the that Silver and Bronze Age that were more connected with the public. They become so almost like gang warfare with each other and stuff. And so it's just so interesting the way that it's written. I really, really enjoyed it. So
It's quite
the
good.
artwork is just so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of zoom in on some of this. I mean, and again, I wish I'd pulled more pages for some of the stuff, but I kind of ran out of time. But it's a treat on multiple levels. Whoops, sorry, I hit the wrong button there. A long shot is just no.
Yeah. I love
so
Batman has the robots patrolling
Yeah.
Gotham. Gotham is a utopia now because Batman's got a whole robot army.
Yeah.
The novelization is great, and also if you ever get a chance, I used to have, I don't have it anymore, but I had an audio play of the entire Kingdom Come, which is really, really good. They have a lot of the people who were involved in the creation of the book are playing different parts in there and get to read different parts, and so it's really, really good.
It's to Rad's point here. Alex Ross doing interiors, like you say, it's a treat. It's so I'll say. Oops. I was just gonna spoil it. I'll say I wish my next book, which had a lot of Alex Ross involvement, I wish it was fully done in the interiors by Alex Ross, but that would have taken forever. To your point, Rad.
Right.
But yeah,
he just did
funny.
that. He did that Fantastic Four book, and he said
yes.
He said to Marvel. Marvel was worried about how long it was going to take him to do it, and he said, "No, I can come out. I can hit if I'm not painting." He's like, "I can do pen and ink in almost the same." So I'm really impressed with the fact that he did that Fantastic Four book in as timely a manner as he did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that figure drawing. I don't know that I completely agree, but I think that it's extremely fun.
His pencils are amazing.
It's because they're so good.
Yeah,
they're so good.
Yeah.
I think I appreciate it more because we've probably seen so much of the painted work. I think that's what I would say. I think it adds the context to it that it's just a treat to see.
I don't know. We want to have it tonight, but that image of where he has Batman with his shirt off and his back to the camera, all the scars on his back and everything.
Yeah,
it's like
that's powerful. I will straight up say that I chose my next pick, and I'm going to move it along a little bit. Kingdom Come is amazing. Everybody knows it's amazing.
Yes. Read it. It's amazing. You won't be disappointed. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. And I don't mean to cut you short. I do have some stuff I have to take care of because of a certain situation. So
absolutely.
So I'm going to move it along a little bit. Sorry.
You're good.
I actually literally picked this because of your pick of Kingdom Come was the reason because we have a couple future shows this could have featured on for me. And I chose Earth X. I could have picked a lot of covers. I picked this one just because of it's funny that Rad Art and Comics is here, Norin Rad. I picked this because of the Shallow Ball and Norin Rad cover
Such
here.
a great cover, though.
Timely.
I don't know if everybody knows with that Earth X series, all those covers connect.
Yeah, and it's really cool. It's really cool. You see the full image. Was it? What isn't there like a? Is there like a trade or something, or like a series of trades that has the connecting images lined up or something? I feel like not just the covers. I feel like there's some. Maybe it was a poster or something I saw. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a poster with all of it all lined up. Yeah, but it's really cool.
I wish, like I said earlier, I wish he'd done the interiors on this. I pulled a lot of cool images from this. There's so much in here that I love. This is true reread territory for me. I read, I think I might be misremembering this even, but I'm pretty sure I read Earth X as a volume 1 trade paperback, and it took me, I don't know why, because of the time it came out, I just wasn't into comics for a little while, or I wasn't around a local comic shop. It took me forever to track down volume 2. So I read this in a very disjointed fashion back when I read it.
Okay.
And I really, really, really want to go back and read it kind of seamlessly, especially after seeing Fantastic Four. It just kind of inspired me to go back and reread it. It's not, I don't think I'm going to glean a ton of new information from it or anything.
I liked a lot what they did with Earth X too.
Yeah,
it was really interesting. Like, because like they made Galactus into like he has a purpose. He's eating planets that have celestial seeds in them so that they don't become new celestials. He's trying to stop the celestials from taking over the galaxy.
Well, and that I wonder if they're not doing that with the MCU. Because obviously we know Earth, of course, has a celestial seed. We also know that movie takes place in the past, and Galactus is trying to eat Earth
on that planet. Yeah,
yeah. So, anyways,
I liked what they did with Galactus in this. I like what they did with the Asgardians. Which they've carried that over now into the MCU. But when they first did that's in this where they said the Asgardians are aliens. They're not really gods. They're aliens.
Yeah,
that was totally new territory. They were perceived as gods because they are. But it's when this book came out, there was a lot of groundbreaking material in here that was new and controversial.
Yeah,
but good.
Yep. I kind of like this. It's a little like Age of Apocalypse. It's a little like Days of the Future Past. It's a little like Kingdom Come. You're kind of seeing like this future where, Peter Parker's gotten fat, and you're seeing, all these, kind of crazy versions or second iterations of characters, and it's just, the Hulk in this, man. There's just so much. There's so much to love here.
Captain America, where he's got the A carved. All the bad guys got a hold of him and carved the A into his forehead.
Yep, right there. I love it. I think that was the last. No, okay. Oh, of course. I had to pull my boy Cyclops. By the way, the Alex Ross concept art for Cyclops.
Oh yeah, so good.
So it's so cool. He's got like a trench coat and everything. It's just bad. I mean, he kind of has that going on here, but he's got a hood, and it's really cool. It's great. It's really great. It's really great. Yeah, that was my last pedal.
We're saying that a lot about Eli's books, but they are amazing stories and well worth a read. If you guys have not read them, please do, or give them just at least check them out. See if they're up your alley. If what we said piqued your interest.
Or playing off the topic that what we kind of talked about with this first one is kind of the idea of rereading. Also let us know what makes you want to reread a comic book that you read before. Not just which ones would you reread, which I'm also curious about hearing about, but what actually makes you want to reread something? Is it like for me, it could be something random like the new Fantastic Four movie has a lot to do with Franklin, has a lot to do with Shallow Ball, of course. So I'm kind of curious to go back and reread, Earth X for those reasons. But that's one example. I'm curious what your reasons are out there. So let us know in the comments if you're watching on the rewind, or if you're rewatching the stream, maybe you want to rewatch some of our episodes.
And yeah, I think like when talking about the idea of like how comics have shaped your life, we could also talk about why the thought process of why you want to reread things versus reading brand new material, like the going back and revisiting that. Maybe it's reinforcing some of those things that you believe. It's almost like going back to the holy scriptures, kind of these things that have kind of forged things in your brain patterns. So
yeah.
So.
And real fast, because I do have to kind of wrap the show up. I didn't have the slideshow prepared like I normally do for our community art segment, but we are going to go over our community art that you've shared with us. If you want to share your community art with us, all you got to do is get in touch with either Big B or myself. Send us your artwork that you want us to feature on the show. It's going to be a little bit slapdash this week, so I do apologize for that. First piece this week comes from Rich Danke, who was in the chat earlier. He usually goes to bed kind of early, so I'm sure he's
love it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's kind of capped off for that. But if he's rewatching, hey, we really appreciate you sharing this awesome
That
Deadpool.
one has like Miller vibes to it.
It does.
Definitely.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really like that.
Yeah, super cool.
Nice job, Rich. And you'll kind of see a little behind the scenes here of how we share this. And this was the piece that we teased last week. Big B teased it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you
so
go.
That is Evgeny Sokolov. But man, just I got to watch him drawing that live on that live stream. Just amazing.
Yeah.
I love
really
the armor. He's such a good job on that armor. That's really cool. And the blood trailing up on the mace. It's so cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, really, really good job. Man, that one. I teased that one last week too.
Yeah, the Irwin Papa. I love this piece. I you know what? Irwin, man. I cannot say enough nice things about what I've been seeing from his art, especially the last few pieces. He's doing great.
Amazing. Like that is yeah. Good stuff.
We are spoiled with great art. Y'all can share all your artwork though with us. We want to see all of it. I don't want to make you think you just has to be competing with these pieces. We want to see your art. Just so happens we had kind of a crazy run of pieces this week. That one was Elliot Wright. Okay, that's cool. That's Silent Hill, right?
I believe that's Silent Hill. Yeah,
I'm not as familiar with that game, so I'm sorry if I'm not. I know I've seen cosplay of this kind of stuff. I want to
pretty horrific. That's for sure.
Yes. Very well done. Like if I'm trying to think of some of the cosplay thing, that's very well done compared to that. I don't know the game source, but Comics Limited. He took off for the night. It's too bad, but he did this great sketch card. Didn't he do this for somebody?
This was a commission for Up North Comics for Bruce. Bruce just picked up an X-Men 50, and so he commissioned Trav to do a card for him.
Nice. I love this sketch card. The last couple sketch cards we've seen from him are really good. I think this is my favorite of the two, though.
Yeah.
Dominic Gomez coming in. I love this Hal right here. It's really cool.
Really good job.
Yeah, I like the pairing there too. I always love the narrative that Batman kind of hates Hal or kind of thinks he's a dumbass or whatever. I always love that narrative.
Well, he definitely hates what's his name? The red guy. Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Yep. Got Steve Driscoll coming in with a little Namor piece here.
Namor humor there.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So for those who don't know, Steve recently kind of started picking up drawing again, or started drawing, period. And he's trying to do several drawings a day, and he's been sharing those with us, and we really appreciate. This is the kind of cool thing, tracking your progress. As you
ATM.
This is peak though for timeliness reasons. We talked a little bit about this Bloodshot stuff last week. Let's see if I can get that to zoom in correctly.
Bloodshot digging Valiant's grave.
Comic tropes. I don't know if he's still around. I think he might have had to take off or something. I haven't seen him in the chat for a while, but This is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, TM Nerdy? What's up, man? We're
I
going
would
to
agree with We Three for sure. That's a really good book.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a great recommendation. I appreciate it. Going through our community art segment here and kind of highlighting some of the art. This was Comic Tropes, Bloodshot Digging Valiant's Graves, with some recent events that took place in the Bloodshot comic book that was just gross negligence, in my opinion. But yeah.
It would have made a great Amazing Heroes cover. That's true.
Yeah. Comic Tropes. Love it, brother. Thanks for sending that.
Such good stuff. You say reach out to people. People reach out to us. If I don't get your stuff to bronze quickly enough, I apologize. I try to get it over as quickly as I can. So if you don't see it this week, you'll see it next week. But I try to get it.
Well said. Yeah. If we ever don't feature it and you just send it in, first of all, remind me. Occasionally things get lost in the shuffle between us trying to compile all the art. But we definitely want to see it. If you're like, hey, how come you didn't show it? It's either because it just didn't make it in time for us to get it compiled correctly. Mondays tend to be very busy, but it's still the best day to do the show for me. But unfortunately, it means that if things come at the last minute, it can be challenging to get them slotted in.
Some guy sends you stuff at the last minute all the time too. I don't know. He's kind of.
I wasn't throwing into the bus, man. I wasn't. But I appreciate.
I tried to get stuff to you early this weekend.
No. And it's funny. The irony is you did get stuff to me early this week, and then it was me having stuff come up. But yeah.
Right.
But hey, we hope you enjoyed this look at some comic books that we recommend. This is kind of, again, if you weren't around the beginning of the show, the idea here is we'll be doing more installments of this as time goes on, where we suggest books as just suggested reading material, kind of a reading list for our viewers of things that we enjoy, and to kind of cultivate suggestions from all of you. And this one was just kind of the theme of like rereading was kind of interesting to us, because it's something that I've been, I mentioned earlier when I was talking about TV shows and movies. I've been going back and rewatching a lot of stuff. I've been going back and rereading more comic books. I don't know what it is. It's just how it works. Nostalgia, whatever. And I'd love to hear from anybody out there what your reasons are for rereading stuff. I think that's fascinating. And of course your suggestions. That's also equally fascinating. So
absolutely. And I want to say I appreciate everybody who are our regular viewers and all our new viewers as well. But
yeah,
the people that come back every week, we love and appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. So
the final thing I'll say for those that are here still is Bigby and I have had a couple talks recently. We want the show to be more successful, and by more successful, I mean we want people to enjoy it. That's really what it comes down to. I think that's safe to say. We have our own goals of we want to kind of be more positive than negative. We want to share what the community is doing, more than anything else. But we also want to listen to what our viewers are interested in. So if you have any suggestions for things that you want to see different about the show, we have one relatively big change that we're talking about on the back end. It kind of came up. Bigby had a fantastic idea I really like, and I think it would be kind of a win-win. So we're probably going to end up with a bit of a format change as far as for how we do the show. And I think it'll be better for everybody. But the time slot would stay the same for the start. We would still be talking about like news and all that kind of stuff. But it just would have a different change along on the back end.
A little bit of format change. Just a little bit.
And I think if more people would get a chance to see some of the stuff we're doing, and you all would still get to see what we're doing too. So it'd actually be better for everybody, I think. But if you have any suggestions for things that we either need to cover or things we should do differently, that call in show. Okay, there's a great suggestion. Yeah. And we always welcome guests. We're often hampered by our time slot, which is a very unfortunate kind of thing that I have to do. Bring back Sydney Sweeney, says Richard. Sydney Sweeney is in jail. You know that.
She's she's chained up in the back room at Bronze's place.
I was gonna say, feel free to let your imagination play with that scenario as much as you like, Richard. It's probably a temporary jail. We'll see.
I will say I had some constructive criticism from somebody, and I've been trying to instill that a little bit more in the last couple episodes. They wanted me to try to go more in depth on things, because they said, a lot of people don't necessarily have the depth of knowledge that everyone else does. So they were like, sometimes I wish you guys went in a little more and explained a little more. So I'm trying to do that. So let me know if that's been working for you guys.
Yeah. I think that's one cool thing about the potential format change we're doing. Sorry, I'm not fully going into it, but we haven't had a chance to nail down exactly what we want to do. It's just kind of more of a broad strokes thing. I think that would allow us to be more in depth on certain things too, which is good.
Right. Absolutely. But
Armis is all we need. The funny joke is
you get both. I mean, if you can have both.
That's the funny joke about it to me is the Sydney Sweeney clip ends with the famous interview with Anna Darmus checking out Sydney Sweeney, kind of got caught checking her out. And so to me, it was funny to transition to Anna Darmus. But let me just say this for you, Richard. Both clips are still, I could press a button and it could play right now. I'm not going to, but it could. So it hasn't gone away. It's just in temporary.
You'll be so happy when it comes back.
That's when it I'll say when it fits in its jeans again, you'll be very happy. And I'll make more dumb clips in the future when I have more time too. I'm surprised.
Hey, there's like, I think I made 3 videos for you on my Instagram, Richard. I don't know if you ever watched them all, but there's 3 Sydney Sweeney videos on my Instagram channel. So
there you go. Sweeney Darmus. Oh man, I heard that movie I really wanted to watch is not doing well. It finally came out, Americana. Which I never was going to go to the theater to watch it.
It looks interesting.
The trailer looked great. But then again,
really, I would say she's really broadening her horizons as far as like what kind of movies she does, and I think that's really laudable. I would say good. I mean,
and I think she either needed to do that or she needed to double down on narrowing her career path.
Right.
One either or the other. I definitely would prefer if she tried to spread out a little bit more.
Whoa,
that's how it came out. But yeah, I heard it wasn't doing too great, which I'm curious to see it when it finally hits streaming. Maybe that means it'll hit streaming.
Kind of like it seems it's more of an indie A23 kind of movie.
It had like a Coen Brothers vibe to it to me, which appeals to me. But Richard watches them every night
on repeat, just loop.
Sometimes he even makes it to the third one. I'm just kidding. Richard always makes it to the third one. On that note, probably time to peace out of this show, folks. But we are coming back next week. 8:00 Pacific is when we start up. That's gonna be 11 p.m. Eastern for you folks, which is part of the reason it can be kind of hard for us to get guests. Something we've always wanted to have more of on the show.
We'll reach out and see if we can get some for next week. I think that'd be a really interesting topic to see. Like
it could be
how comics has shaped your life or something.
Absolutely, I agree. And yeah, just go ahead and leave us a comment. If you do me a favor, I did want to mention again that we are streaming on a few different channels. We are streaming on Big B McFly's channel. We're streaming on Bronze Age Nerds channel and over on the EXP. All those channels are ones that I recommend subscribing to because I do like the content on all of them. I guess I'm 1/3 of them. I really like the content on Big B and the EXP's channels. Definitely go subscribe to those.
I like the links content on his channel and EXP too. So
whenever he has any content. Oh yeah, Monday is Labor Day. That's a really good point. That may play into our streaming schedule, but I think we might still go. Stay tuned. That's a really good point.
There.
I forgot it's Labor Day. What I was going to say is links for all 3 channels are down in the description below if you want to go give them a follow, as well as socials for myself and for Big B. And TM, I hope you saw the Anna Darmus clip that we showed earlier because it's worth watching. Might want to rewind until you see Anna Darmus on the screen.
Right. Yeah. I would say, hey, we've got a lot of people that are in the chat as well. If you guys haven't already, the CBC Awards, make sure to get your votes in for people that you enjoy. I'm not going to shamelessly plug anyone, but I'm going to say there are a lot of great people who are in our chat regularly that deserve your vote. and just make sure you make your voice heard. So,
yeah. CBCA Awards are going on right now. Vote and then make sure you nominate next year.
Knock from Pop Sequentialism. Who's there?
Yeah. Now I gotta wait for the punchline to that.
Yeah, like knock.
Hey,
it's
all good. You can rewind and watch it. The whole point of the show was about
make sure you find the Anna Darmus clip. That's all we have to say.
That's really the only quality thing we've ever done. So no, I'm just kidding. Uh,
This whole show, I think, was really this episode is great. So I mean, just for I think all of the books that we picked and the discussion and the chat, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future. Kind of, we should probably come up with a name for that series that we end up doing eventually. But all the themed kind of reading lists that we're going to be coming out with. Mostly the first ones are going to be broken out by publisher, and then we're going to get into some kind of sub themes on that. But I'm excited for all those. I think they're
Yeah, I think definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited. The deep cut one. I've already got.
I'm curious to come up. I may need to shift a couple of mine that I already had to deep cuts. But yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will catch you next week. Have a great night. If you've got kids, good luck with the back to school rush. I'm kind of dealing with that myself right now. And all the fun weather we're having across the country and all that fun stuff. But you can always stay tuned every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and watch Best Coast Comics. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next one.